Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Being that it is a little after 6 p.m. on Monday, May 22nd, we will call to order the Board of Selectmen's meeting. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first item on the agenda is approval of regular session meeting minutes. We have the meeting minutes from Monday, April 24th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
All right, having a motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Courtney, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Ford?
Yes.
Selectman Duggan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Next, we have the regular session meeting minutes from Wednesday, May 6, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Having a motion and a second, are there any other discussion? If not, Courtney, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Ford?
Yes.
Selectman Duggan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Next, we have regular session meeting minutes from Monday, May 8th, 2017.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none. Courtney, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Ford?
Yes.
Selectman Duggan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Abstain. All right, then, next item, we have approval of executive session meeting minutes, and we have executive session meeting minutes from Monday, April 24th, 2017.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
And are we approving these for release, or, all right, approved for release? Any discussion? Hearing none. Courtney, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Ford?
Yes.
Selectman Duggan?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. All right, next item on the agenda, we have the swearing-in ceremony for Kevin Adams, Paul Konechny, and Henry LaFontaine.
You stand right here. You can have the family stand behind you, do it. Anyone want to take pictures, feel free to come over here. Come right ahead. Come a little forward, come forward. You can have them stand right by your side. This is a family. Perfect. Raise your right hands, please. Do you solemnly swear and affirm that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as members of the Webster Fire Department, according to the best abilities and understandings, agreeable to the town bylaws and the laws of the Commonwealth of South Dakota? Congratulations, gentlemen.
These gentlemen worked very hard over the last year and a half, the last 2 years, putting their studies together, taking classes, Fire Officer 1, Fire Officer 2, preparing themselves for their exams. And throughout the course of their career in the fire department, preparing themselves to be lieutenants and captains of the fire service. So very proud of our officers, our line officers, and our members of our fire department. They work very hard since we merged rescue and fire together to create a world-class fire department for the town Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Good job, Captain.
Haven't heard anybody yell, so that's good.
So on behalf of the entire Webster Board of Selectmen, we'd just like to extend our congratulations to Kevin Adams being sworn in as a captain, Paul Konechny being sworn in as a captain, and Henry Fontaine being sworn in as a lieutenant. Thank you for all your service, gentlemen.
I did
Be
not.
safe.
Oh, by the way, you guys have to do a 5 minutes speech.
It wasn't in the manual.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Chief.
Chief.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Paul.
All right, the next item we have on the agenda is the Webster School Committee Board of Selectmen's joint meeting, interview, and vote to appoint candidate to fill a vacancy on the school committee. All right. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Mr. McCara from the school committee. All right. Perfect.
Good job, Mike.
Good evening, thank you. As I think you all know, we received one letter of interest for the opening in the school committee. Again, Mr. Collins resigned a couple weeks ago, and per town charter, any open seats, it becomes a joint vote of the Board of Selectmen and the school committee to serve until the next election. So this would be an appointment for the open seat on the school committee, obviously until the election in May of next year. This particular seat is in year 2 of the term, so there will be an election next May to fill the remaining year of that term. We did receive one letter from Kathleen, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing her last name wrong, Naparata. I don't know Kathleen, and I don't believe she's here this evening. So, where we only had one individual that submitted the letter, certainly based on her letter, from my personal opinion, I think she's more than qualified, but that's up to, I guess, the collective board/committee, how we want to move forward.
All right. Do we have any?
Through the chair,
Absolutely.
did we ask the candidate to come in? Did we ask at all?
Yeah, we thought she was coming in, so.
Okay.
You would think. Have you interviewed her, or?
No, the deadline was Friday morning,
Oh.
and I believe the letter was received on Thursday.
Correct.
So obviously protocol is for us to interview her collectively.
All right. Do we want to reschedule this to our next agenda, or do we need to fill this right away?
again, my own personal opinion, and I don't know if there's anything in the charter or bylaws that prevent us, I certainly personally feel comfortable approving her based on the letter that she wrote, her background, her qualifications, but I certainly don't want to speak for the entire committee. That's just my own personal opinion.
Through the chair, any of the school committee members, have they ever met her? No. Has anyone on the board ever met her?
I did take the letter when she dropped it off that morning.
Did you scare her away, Mr. Chairman?
I did not.
I don't know if
She
I
moved
would
it
have
that
admitted
way.
that.
But did anyone actually check her letter and make sure everything is correct in the letter?
Well, again, I do know folks who know her, and what they told me matches what she stated in her letter, so.
Through the chair, I mean, I think the level of experience is very good. 18 years an educator in the public school system. And it would be difficult for I think, any meeting to occur to interview, this person. But I mean, I would be okay based upon what I'm reading. I think she'd make a fine member.
And there weren't numerous volunteers.
Put it in your hands. You gotta work with her, so if you're fine,
Well,
that's
again,
great.
personally, I feel comfortable. Again, I don't want to speak for my colleagues behind me.
Well, make a motion.
I'm sorry?
Make a motion.
I move that we appoint Kathleen Naparata as a school committee member serving the open term until the election of next May.
Second.
Okay, you're in motion and second. Courtney,
Did you
you
pull
wanna
both boards?
pull both boards then?
I don't know.
We
Selectman
can,
Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Ford?
Yes.
Selectman Dugannon?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Schultz?
yes.
Mr. Hurton, yes.
All right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
All right. Next item on the agenda was going to be the continuation of the liquor license violation hearing dated September 12th, 2016 for the Polish American Citizens Club. However, we did receive notification from Attorney Bridgman requesting that we move this to a different date because of notification. We did follow up with Kopelman and Page to make sure that there would not be a problem rescheduling, and they have advised us that it was okay to reschedule. So we're going to move it to the next meeting.
What they did was they rehired counsel, so they wanted extra time to look at it.
Moving on, our next item on the agenda is WEF Properties, 114 Point Breeze Road, owned by James R.L. Care. Vote to amending the underground storage license for 5,000 gallons of gas. So I do see AJ is here, so I'll ask AJ to come forward.
And Mr. Chairman, I will recuse myself due to a financial interest.
Absolutely.
And real briefly, while AJ comes up here, he can explain it more, but it's really just a change in the name, so it's pretty cut and dry, so.
Well, thank you, Mr. Town Manager. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Board. And Courtney, thank you so much for working tonight.
So AJ, it is just the change of the name, and anything else you want to add to that?
I don't have anything to add.
Yeah.
So,
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
and is there any, just for a point of discussion for those that may be watching at home or those here, this is in regards to the existing gas station that's already on Webster Lake because the property changed ownership. They're just transferring the license to the new owner. So is there any other discussion? If not, Courtney, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Ford?
Yes.
Selectman Dugannon?
Yes.
Chairman Schultz?
Yes. Thank you so much.
That's it. That didn't hurt. did it?
Thank you, everybody.
Next item on the agenda is Town Treasurer James Chauvin. Vote to authorize the treasurer to file an application with the Municipal Oversight Board for the use of State Qualified Bond Act.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have 3 votes that I would like the selectmen to take tonight. The first one is, as the chairman just stated, is a vote to authorize myself to file an application with the Municipal Finance Oversight Board. What this is, the town will be able to piggyback on the state's bond rating when we go out to do long-term borrowing. What's gonna happen is we get that lower rate and stuff because they're gonna take the bond premiums, the bond payments, the interest, right out of our local aid. It's like if you have a car payment, comes right out of your checking account, sometimes they give you a little lower interest rate, and that's what this program here is all about.
Yeah, so the state's bond rating is 3 steps higher than ours, so we should get better interest rate.
What's our rate?
We have an A1 for Moody's. The state has from Standards & Poor's a AA+.
So when we do our long-term borrowing, it's gonna be a big amount that'll help us save a lot of money.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Hearing a motion and second, is there any other discussion? If not, Courtney, will you poll the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Board?
Yes.
Selectman Degevich?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Schulman?
Yes.
The second vote I would like the board to approve is the vote to approve the sale of the $4,040,551 bond anticipation notes. And I believe in your packet, you have something that's all broken down.
Actually, I don't think they do. They just have with the interest rate. I have it.
Oh,
so-
okay, okay.
Yep. So that bond is for funding the Park Avenue School. I think as you're aware, the money wasn't borrowed previously, so it's the opportunity for us to borrow that now. Any questions on that?
And just for clarification, this was all stuff that was already previously approved at town meeting.
Oh, yes,
Yep.
absolutely, yes.
So moved.
Second.
Any motion, with the motion and second, any other discussion? If not, Courtney, will you poll the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Board?
Yes.
Selectman Degevich?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Schulman?
Yes.
The second vote is also to vote to approve the sale of the 5.193833 bond anticipation notes. And Doug,
Yeah, so that breakdown is $745,000 is for the Park Ave Elementary School, $3.5 million for the public library, $854,800 for the Bartlett Junior Senior High School repairs, and $94,083 for the computer bonds. Again, these are all previously approved. The difference between this one and the vote you just took is these ones are all tax exempt, and the second one wasn't due to the timing.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second, is there any discussion? If not, Courtney, will you poll the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Board?
Yes.
Selectman Degevich?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Schulman?
Yes,
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to approach the board and have the signatures.
absolutely.
Okay.
I'm all set.
Just pass for the board.
Yeah.
Now, you sure we're signing these for the town, we're not signing the mortgage, I don't think
I don't know who's that.
No, no.
I don't think I can do it.
For us home in the bottom.
Maybe we, just to cover ourselves, can we have so what Courtney's signing is the motion that we are, the board voted to authorize us to go before the Municipal Finance Oversight Board. Maybe we can just amend the motion to read exactly what that says. If that's okay with the board, with the chair.
Oh, the whole,
Yeah, just the part that's voted in the middle section. So
You want me to read that, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah,
Right ahead.
Voted that the treasurer is authorized to file an application with the Municipal Finance Oversight Board to qualify under Chapter 44A of the general laws, any or all of the bonds currently authorized and unissued by the town, or notes in anticipation thereof, and to provide such information and execute such documents as the Municipal Finance Oversight Board may require for these purposes.
So
Thanks.
moved.
Second.
Make a motion in a
Make
second.
motion.
Courtney, did you want to repoll the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Ford?
Yes.
Selectman Duguevich?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Truhill?
Yes.
thank you. Now, though, no question was whether or not that was done correctly.
Just to be safe.
Yes.
It was an expensive meeting.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Next, we have Kenny Pizzetti with the Safety Committee recommendations.
Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
Just have a brief update in front of us here for this, our annual safety committee. So we were looking to the board for some, just an update, and then, thank you. Just looking at a couple areas, as you can see in front of you, that we're looking for your permission either go forward or whatever you gentlemen thought. This is where we felt we needed to go with these 3 streets. I'll start with the first one, which is Nelson Street. This is in regards to the Lincoln Street side. It's only half the street. We've had several times where we weren't able to have an emergency vehicle, mainly the fire trucks, which are the bigger one. The road is, this road is only like 26 feet. There's a lot more double-deckers on that one end, unfortunately, and that's where we kind of had a couple incidents. So we were just looking to maybe push them to one side, that which would be from Lincoln to Cody on that one half.
Do we want to take on each of these
Yeah, let me do
individually?
one on one then.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we do the one-side parking only on Nelson Street,
Second.
Motion in a second. Is there any discussion?
and place the 4 signs, I'm sorry.
Just a quick question, Mr. Pizzetti, was there any citizen input on this? I mean, safety is first.
Right.
If there was any.
This actually, the 2 requests actually came each time from both the fire department end. One was late in the season, it really wasn't a snow problem, and the other one was when they're just like now, it's just unfortunate that they just park side by side. I think there's
I
just
go through that every Sunday, it's awful.
that many in there, yeah.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, Courtney, will you poll the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Ford?
Yes.
Selectman Duguevich?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Truhill?
Yes.
The second one is Negus Street, which is right behind us. Again, this was more on both the police department end and unfortunately, again, the fire department end. It's kind of already posted from Mechanic Street almost all the way to Church, and then a couple sections by St. Louis. I don't know why they would be parking there lately, but lately, they have. So I guess it just causes, there's no room at all over there. So, again, a couple of times where they were trying to respond to something, they couldn't get through. The police vehicles are small enough, they did make it. fire truck is up and over the curb to get around them. So we were just looking to, there's just a gap in there. We're just looking to fill that one gap in. Over 90% of the street is already pre-marked, no parking either side.
I make a motion to approve the no parking either side, Mechanic Street to Lake Street.
Second.
Is there any discussion? If not, Courtney, will you poll the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Ford?
Yes.
Selectman Degevich?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Childen?
Yes.
And then the last one, if we could please, was Union Point. Just a very quiet rural neighborhood. They were just looking, if you can look at that quick sketch there, if you were heading north there and you made that circle when you were coming back out, there's just nothing on that end. So that was a couple residents that had put that in, and they were just simply asking if we
I'd
put a
make the
simple
motion
stop sign there.
to put the stop sign over there at Union Point. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Sometime if you don't stop there and somebody's coming
Right.
the other way,
Last year, we placed a couple residential signs, slow children, you know what I mean, the previous season. So maybe this is just, will help that situation out over there.
I'll second.
All right. So a motion and a second, any discussion? If not, Courtney, will you poll the board?
Selectman Miller?
yes.
Selectman Ford?
Yes.
Selectman Degevich?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Childen?
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman.
You're welcome. Moving on, we have the town administrator's report.
Thank you. So yesterday we had the firefighter muster at the beach. Heard it was a good day. If you saw Chief Hickey, he looked nice and tan. That was courtesy of being out there all day. Next Monday is is Memorial Day. We have the parade starting at 11 a.m. And then it'll be continuing here to Town Hall with the ceremony at noon out front. There's additional activities going on that's at the different cemeteries. Some starting this week, actually, on Wednesday the 24th at the Mount Zion Cemetery at 6 p.m. On Thursday at the Sacred Heart Cemetery at 12:15 p.m. And then the Calvary Cemetery on Thursday at 6 p.m. And I believe that's, and the St. Joseph Cemetery at 9 a.m. on Saturday. Oh, that was this past Saturday. So in addition to that, obviously Memorial Day, the town offices will be closed. And then I just wanted to point out that on June 19th is the start of the summer reading program. So there's both the adults and children's program. So we can get more information on the library's website and their Facebook page. It's not quite up there yet, so it'll be there in the next couple days. Go over public health and safety. We've had a couple opioid task force meetings. We're having our next one in June. In the past couple months, we've had 12 overdoses that have been taken to the hospital. This is actually down by roughly half compared to last year. We've taken those people, referred them to the Webster Resource Center, and it's part of the sheriff's office here in town, and they've been able to place approximately 25% of them into programs. So they're doing well, they're receiving help and continuing in the program. So we've considered that as actually a really big win, that they've been able to take part of it and they're on their road to recovery. We'll continue to be holding those meetings. Members from the Hubbard Hospital will be attending, and we also had Pastor Ford join our last meeting. He'll continue to join with us as well. This past Saturday, we had the shooting that you're aware of on Maynard Street, Maynard Ave. This is actually the third shooting in the last 6 months, so we be meeting with the chief, try to go over some options we have to try to address this and continue to make the town safe moving forward. We have put out recreation program brochures for our summer camps. That's available on our website. We've putting that out to other communities as well to join with us to help kids be active during the summer. Again, the beach opens starting Memorial Day weekend for the weekends. That'll start full-time near the end of June. Yeah. And we have, as part of the Community Compact Program, we asked the state to help us fund an open space and recreation plan update. So the CMRPC, which is the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission, they're going to be working on that for us, and the state's funding it. So after that open space plan is completed, we can use that to apply for funds, either to address issues at the park or maybe at the French River Parkway or actually any park in town. For finances, the free cash was submitted and approved since we last met. In the FY17 budget, we still have the deficit of snow and ice, about $155,000. Legal, we've spent just under $78,000. Looks like we'll be able to remain under budget for the rest of the fiscal year. FY18 budget now completed and approved, so our next step is going to be working on the 5-year forecast. So looking forward to working with the Finance Committee to put that together. And the next item is we've had the independent auditor the last couple of weeks here in Town Hall, so we expect that a draft audit report to be completed by mid-June. Economic development, the new town planner and I drafted a letter introducing ourselves and putting together available different programs and options that local businesses have that they may not be aware of. So we wanted to let people know about those and let them know they can contact us to get more information. We're working with the Chamber and the Business Alliance to help new businesses as they open or come into town be involved in those and kind of cross advertise with the Chamber. And the CME weekly status report is attached. As far as the infrastructure, the Davis Street construction is underway in the back here. They are working on the sidewalk project there. National Grid will be out in the next, in about 2 or 3 weeks, they'll be working on Main Street to fix those gas leaks. Kenny, is there anything you want to specifically say about that project since you're here?
We did have some brief dialogue a little while back with the board. The bigger part of this is they do have their engineering okay to actually go from the Dudley line right to this intersection. So that's a big plus. It's just going to be a little inconvenience for a while, seeing we have that much traffic coming through here. So
yeah,
it's something we want it done to be aware of the businesses themselves.
Excuse me, is that a new line?
It's going to be replaced, right? All that old steel is coming out where we've all seen in patching for years. So it's actually very good news. They'll patch that at the end of the season. It'll probably be in better shape than what it is now with all those little patches everywhere. And next season, I think Carol had a plan also. We're looking to resurface this roadway. So it was good news.
Yeah. So next up, the water treatment plant. So we are actually kind of moving this up. So we'd like to bid this in July so we can get it started in October and hopefully do all the the major stuff on the outside so we can do the inside stuff over the winter and have this the timeline moved up slightly. Again, the end timeline is probably be completed around Christmas of 2018. So that's moving full force and forward. The library project is on budget. They had a few days delay with some of the weather issues, but nothing drastic, so that project is going well. For energy management, there's a few things that we've been working on. There's a MEDA grant that's for municipalities to address energy savings. So we're using that to apply to CMRPC to become a green community. If we become a green community, it opens up grant opportunities for us, and right away they gave us $170,000. So that's something that we're looking forward to. The street lights, we've been talking about switching these to LEDs. There's actually probably 3 different ways to do that. One is we just have National Grid switch them out for us, and they retain ownership of them. If we did that, it's an annual savings of about $27,000. The other option is that we purchase them ourselves and then switch them out to LEDs. We're still waiting for the cost to purchase those. So we can't do the full cost-benefit analysis until we have that. If we purchase them, we retain the full savings, so it might be a little more savings than if we had gone directly with National Grid. Then the third option is we join with the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission. That's the planning commission for the greater Boston area. If we join with them, they actually offer a 30% discount for the purchase of LED streetlights. So Kenny, that might be the way we should go. That's actually what Kevin from National Grid recommended that we do.
Right.
Because we get the grant to fund it and we get the full savings from this electricity savings.
Mr. Chairman, just a quick question. If we're buying them, who installs the lights? That wouldn't be on us.
No,
We're on
so,
Mr.
so,
Pizzetti.
yep. If we buy them through MAPC, they hire the contractor to install them as
Thank you.
well. So Kenny won't be on the bucket truck.
The LEDs would probably be a lot brighter too downtown, wouldn't it?
Right.
Yeah, so,
Nicer,
yeah.
just totally nicer.
White light.
Yeah, it's a white light. What they do is they match the moon, so it's, can't really complain because it's the most natural light there is, so. Under Human Resources, we've been meeting with the Personnel Advisory Board. We'll continue to meet with them over the summer. And under Performance Review, so we are going to be meeting each month. We hope to have a department come before you to kind of give an update on their performance, go over their goals and their priorities and what they've accomplished over the past several months and what they expect to do going forward. So the next meeting, we're going to have the library come in. Amanda has been willing to be the first guinea pig, and it's great because the library already has a lot of data, and I feel like they're doing a good job anyway, so it shouldn't be too intimidating for them to come before the board.
And that doesn't mean the last department up is doing the worst job. Just for
No, yes, exactly. So, we have, we're working on some downtown improvements. There's the French River Park and Davis Street business sign that we've approached all the businesses on Davis Street, put them on a sign that let people know that they're actually businesses off of Main Street back there, and also let them know there's municipal parking. We're working towards a kind of a mini history and mini art museums for the vacant windows downtown. So we reached out to the schools. They have some old student artwork that we can put up there. Reached out to the Historical Society as well to get some stuff to put up in the windows just to dress up some of those vacant windows. We're working on finding some benches and planters and trash barrels to put downtown as well. We've contacted some people to do potential murals, so they're going to drop some sketches, and we'll take a look at those to see if we all like them. And as far as being a transparent government, we are working to update the website with Civic Plus. Also with the website, we put the information packet, so the packet that the board gets, I went through it, redacted some of the stuff that I thought was sensitive. We don't want to put people's phone numbers or emails out there, but that information will be available from now on the website before the meeting, so citizens can come and find out what we're actually talking about. Also, the TA reports, we're going to post those online as well. They probably won't get posted till the next day because I'm usually working on them until 5 minutes before this meeting starts. We put the last audit online, and I just wanted to remind the public in general that we have this e-report function on the website. So if you don't want to call Courtney and make a complaint or report a pothole, you can do that online as well. It's a little bit underutilized, so we just kind of want to make people aware that that's available. We'll be talking about this later, the citizen survey that I would like to do and put out. And last of all is we have a lot of questions about when the fireworks are. So they are going to be July 1st this year. That's Saturday before. And we've got a great company. There's a lot of shell counts that are going to be blown up. So it'll be a good show.
And is the rain date the next day?
It is. So it'll be Sunday. Yeah.
You bid that out for 3 years? That's
Yeah.
what I saw.
Yeah. So there was some question about future year dates, so we'll talk to the company and see what's available and see what works for everyone.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes.
Yeah, if I may, through the chair. I know we've had a lot of, well, at least I've seen a lot of reaction as far as some of the shootings, et cetera, the violent type crimes in town that seem to be a little bit more persistent going on. And without getting involved into the day-to-day of business or any of that, and I know the administrator has a lot of things on his plate, well, would one of us to help you or give you ideas, and you can, not that I'm saying you would, because you're the appointing authority, with the police department, you know, maybe they might need some help, I don't know, or suggestions, that's all I'm saying. If maybe one of us could volunteer.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm always willing to get any help that's offered.
That's what I'm just saying, just a helping hand, that's all I'm saying.
For 5 years, I've been saying that this problem's coming into town. 3.5 years ago, 2.5 years ago, Mr. Miller and Mr. Bork were both here when we made the motion to hire 2 or 3 more police officers to do a community action team to hit the hot spots in town, and that was turned down. Not by us, we voted to approve it, but the powers to be said that we didn't need it. And I made the statement, at some point, there's gonna be guns in town, and now we have them. So I would definitely like to work with you on this, if you'll have me.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to work with you and see ideas and options you have to help, or, you know, make the town a safer place to be. When we have, I mentioned this at town meeting, we have the 2 new police officers from the FAILS grant. Also this year we funded an additional police officer within that budget. So we do have extra personnel that will be coming on, and maybe we do look at something that, such as a task force or a strike force or some other options to help address some of these issues.
And through the chair, I understand what Mr. Miller is talking about with regards to making sure we stay away from the day-to-day operations.
Right.
And, you know, with that in mind, Doug is relatively new to the town and probably still developing the relationship with the chief. So I would, you know, think that's going to grow and mature to the point, if you need opinions, great, but just let's be cautious.
Yeah, no, that's.
Through the chair to the vice chair, I would urge that, absolutely, that we should, basically, we're just gonna help the administrator. Any action would be through the administrator, not us, okay, not to get involved in that situation or type of situation. I see Mr. Doug Erichwald, he does have a police background. That might be helpful some way. I don't have.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you needed, I would make a motion, if it's okay, Mr. Chairman, to nominate, just to help you out, Mr. Administrator, Mr. Dugevich, just to, as a helping hand, but not to get involved in the day-to-day operation.
In this way, if I vote of the board, no one can accuse me of doing that, which is what I want.
Yeah, I mean, and to Randy's point, I think, you know, the chief and I have had issues in the past, but we've moved forward, and I think this would be a good opportunity to, you know, continue to progress that relationship and also have someone else's opinions as well. And, I think it would be fine. I don't see any big issues with it.
So we have a motion, is there a second? If not, I can second it for discussion purposes. Is there any discussion? If not,
I guess the only discussion I would have would be, you know, just to be cautious, and if there are issues, bring them to the board.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And as opposed to, there's always a concern if there's just a one-on-one
Yep.
relationship between a selectman and the town administrator, where the rest of the board is unaware of what's going on. So if we do this, I would just caution to make sure that we keep the board fully appraised of
Yes.
what's
I think the
happening.
board should
Oh,
be
there's no
kept
two
up to
ways
date
about
on
it,
everything.
absolutely.
Correct.
Yeah, and the chief can come and help us present that as well, so it's, no one's excluded at all.
Right, and I would, again, assuming we vote this, just make sure we get the chief's, he's not here to
Right.
present his views, make sure we get his views. That's
Yep.
all.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, Courtney, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller,
Yes.
Selectman Bork,
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich,
Yes.
Selectman Becker,
Yes.
Chairman Jolda.
Yes. Then, do we have any further discussion on the town administrator's report? If not, Courtney, will you poll the board for
Selectman
approval?
Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Ford?
Yes.
Selectman Dugovich?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda.
Yes. Anything under old business? I don't believe we do. We're moving on. New business, we have Polish American Citizens Club, 37 Harris Street, vote of statement of reasons for liquor license violation imposed on Monday, June 13th, 2016, as required by the letter received from the ABCC.
Yeah, so if you looked at the letter the ABCC sent to us, basically they said, we served them a 7-day suspension, but we didn't really state the reasons why. So we had the attorneys at KP draft up a letter stating the several reasons why. I'll just read over those real quickly. One is the violation of 204 CMR 2.05. Number 2, and this is no licensee for the sale of alcoholic beverages shall permit any disorder, disturbance, or illegality of any kind to take place in or on the licensed premises. The licensee shall be responsible therefore, whether present or not. Number 2 is violation of 204 CMR 2.058. All premises covered by a license or storage permit shall be kept in a clean and sanitary conditions at all times. Number 3 is violation of MGL Chapter 138, Section 69, which is service of alcohol to intoxicated persons. And number 4, violation of MGL Chapter 138, Section 34, service of alcohol to person under the age of 21. And then Randy recommended that we add an additional one based on conversations with the attorney. He recommends adding MGL Code 138, Section 12, for allowing a patron to leave premises with alcohol. So there is a draft motion that was sent out that basically says that the board should recommend sending a letter to the ABCC with those reasons defined as why it was originally, the license was suspended for 7 days.
And I would make a motion to approve a letter as indicated by our town administrator, and just remind the board, I believe 2 of the board members had to recuse themselves from the June 2016 meeting, so.
All right, motion second.
Yeah, actually, can I add one more thing to that motion? So the attorney recommended that we adopt the findings found in the police report as well, so just.
I'll amend my motion to that.
All right, so we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? If not, Courtney, will you poll the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Ford?
Yes.
Selectman Dugovich?
I was absent at the original hearing, so I'll abstain.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda.
Yes.
And I don't know, just to further the conversation, I don't know if it came up in your description, Doug, but this was brought about because the PACC appealed the decision.
Correct, and we just needed to submit in writing the reasons for the license suspension to the ABCC. That way they have backing to determine whether or not the suspension was reasonable or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Next item, we have a request from Saints Constantine and Helen Church for a 1-day liquor license for June 10th, 2017, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. for their festival.
Euro Festival.
Euro Festival,
Second.
yes. Right, we have a motion and second. Any discussion? If not, Courtney, will you poll the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Ford?
Yes.
Selectman Dugovich?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda.
Yes. Next item on the agenda, we had a request from one of the selectmen. The board has numerous policies that have been created over the years that may have not been reviewed, so we just wanted to bring the list to the board and ask the board. I'll turn it over to Selectman Miller at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did ask for this, I got a book. But I think it's good policy for this board with our policies that we have set in procedures to review them and/or revise them appropriately, as any company or corporation or anybody doing business would do. Some of these I know are a little bit out of date, some things may have to be redacted a little bit and just brought up to date and to the law and so forth, so that we're not falling through the cracks. It's just a point of business. I'm not expecting everyone to go through the 42 tonight. This is just a, something for our review, and at a later date, we could even take, depending on some of them, we could say, okay, 1 through, I'm just guessing here, 1 through 20 is fine, and so forth and so on. And we could chip them away little by little at future meetings, and then have them dated, stamped, and revised.
Absolutely.
So, through the chair,
Yes.
might I suggest what we do is we take 2 for each meeting. 1, 2.
2?
2?
2?
How long do you think these?
It's not gonna take that long.
Right,
It's
that's
not
why
War
I'm
and Peace, it's just a,
well, if we're meeting
only a quarter of the
once a month, yeah. So then we take 4.
yeah, no, I'm not saying take all of them, that.
No, I mean,
please
we
don't.
can at least go through, we'll go through them
Just
all,
a
so we
few
take
at a
4.
different meeting, and that'd be up
Just-
to the chair if he's got time.
1, 2, 3,
According to
4,
what's on
5,
the
6, 7,
agenda.
8.
Absolutely.
1.
Yeah, and through,
Yeah, 1.
and through the chair, I mean, I think it might make sense to prioritize these, because we've,
Yeah,
you know, at least in
Absolutely.
my 2 years here, we've done a number of these, so to me, those would almost be put, unless there's something urgent in them, we put those a little bit more to the back burner.
Correct.
And maybe ask the members if they can prioritize, like, you know, I've identified
Yeah, maybe.
8 or 10 of them in here that I thought were probably top priority.
Sure.
And maybe we can just submit our priorities and work the list down that way rather than 1 to 42.
Absolutely. So do we want to have?
I think it's a good idea.
Have the board members prioritize their lists and send them to Courtney, and then Courtney can rank them in order, and then we'll just start going, take 4 of them at
because
each
even,
meeting and go
if
in
I
order.
may, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman,
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, but even the ones that are up, as Vice Chair has stated, if they're recent, that would be, as they
Correct.
say in the old country, easy peasy, you know?
Yes.
We can just revise them and just place them in, and that'd be okay. I understand that. But there are some that, if you notice, back in
Yes.
1990-something or whatever, you know,
And maybe we can have Courtney add the dates of the most recent revision on this list. That would be very helpful.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We can keep track.
I didn't expect this, but thank you.
Careful what you ask for.
Courtney, yeah, Courtney spent a lot of time putting this together.
Thank you,
She
Courtney.
did, and I want to thank her for that.
And I would just add that we're working on the personnel advisory
Yes.
handbook, so maybe we review some of the personnel-related ones at the
They work
Definitely.
hand in hand, I
Absolutely.
would think, Mr. Administrator.
Yeah, because some of them would fall under the employee handbook.
Yeah, so just make sure that the new handbook's consistent with the policies.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other discussion on that item before we move on? If not, we'll move on to voting to sign the intermunicipal agreement between the town of Oxford and the town of Webster for the transportation and treatment of wastewater.
So I thought Bill was going to be here, but since he's not, I met with the town of Oxford. This is actually word for word the same contract. The only thing we changed was the discharge flows found on, let's see,
Is that
page
the-
7.
Is that the 50,000 not to exceed? Is that it?
It's based on the amount of biochemical oxygen and
Right.
the suspended solids that are in it. So we increased those slightly just to be consistent with what is actually happening. Our Bill is fine with it at the sewer department. They actually recommended it. Actually, Tim Loftus, before he left, recommended these changes, and then went and talked with Oxford, and they agreed completely. So they're just looking for us to approve that, and we can continue this intermunicipal agreement going forward.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion?
Yeah, through the chair, on that page 7, the measurement of flow, this is not water-based, so we're doing some kind of estimates, and That's the
Yeah.
only kind of question that I had.
Yeah, so, and that's probably a better question for Bill, but,
Well, yeah, I'm going to assume that they've done their homework on
yeah.
it, but it wasn't evident to me how they'd measure it.
Mhm.
Right, any further discussion? If not, Courtney, will you poll the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Board?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevish?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Moving on, we have a vacancy on the library building committee, so I'll ask Rena and the other representatives from the library building committee to come up.
I think he's nervous.
A little bit.
Well, but don't be nervous, they're very nice people. There's me
How
who to
about
worry
the
about.
library building
Sit down.
committee is not so nice?
They're not nice? Well, some of them are here, so. We had, as you all know, we had to replace a member of our board. I'm not gonna get into all that. Anyway, because I'll cry. Anyway, and Sean, his name came up at a trustees meeting, and 2 or 3 of our members knew him as a nice young man. And ironically enough, when Sean and I talked, he grew up in Framingham, pretty much in the same neighborhood Ray grew up in. So I think this is a little creepy, scary. So anyway, I want to present Sean Young to you. Thank you.
My
Yes,
question is, would you be willing to be on the interior design subcommittee?
Doesn't matter, anything.
Need a little male touch.
Apparently, none of the men want to do that, so.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'll take on anything.
Not necessary, Sean.
Thanks.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you.
Any
Thank you. See,
discussion?
they're all nice.
Perfect.
Okay, very
Okay.
good. Thank you all
Courtney,
very
And-
much.
and-
We'll take the vote.
Yeah,
Oh.
just for a little
Yeah, discussion,
discussion,
absolutely.
if I may, Mr. Young, you didn't have to pace the hall so nervously before.
I
the meeting.
didn't know who I was waiting for, and, first probably a meeting that I've actually come to, so now,
Welcome.
How long have
Thank
you
you.
lived in town?
And thank you.
I've been in here since 2003.
Over on Crosby.
You're welcome back to any other future meetings.
Sure.
We know you have
Thank
big
you,
shoes
Mr.
to fill, you'll fill them well.
Yes, it appears that way, yep.
Thank you.
Right, then Courtney, will you poll the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Board?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevish?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Thank you.
It's
Congratulations.
official. Thank
you.
you all.
Thank
Thank
you
you all
very
very
much.
much.
You have to get sworn
Yeah,
in.
make sure you see the town
Yes,
clerk.
maybe we'll see Mr. Prater.
You got seconds. Run, run, run.
Next item on the agenda is discussion of a proposed one-day liquor license application.
Yeah, so, right now, we get these liquor license requests in all sorts of different ways, so we just want to kind of formalize it. This is one that another city uses, and it seems to work well. It'll explain the process to people, and it's nice that we can have the police acknowledge it on the same form, so we know they're aware of it, so if there needs to be a police detail, the board will know of that before you're required to vote on it. So, I don't know if you have any questions on the form. Courtney put it together for us, so she can answer any questions on it.
Looks very informative.
Congratulations on your first policy.
Should we add that?
That's not till
to-
tomorrow.
Do you need approval, or are you just getting?
Just, if you're good with it, we'll just run with it. We don't need a.
No, it's excellent.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is townwide citizens survey, comments and discussion.
So in the packet is a survey that I went through, looked at other communities, what they used to survey, and this is kind of a compilation of several communities. What ideally I would like to do is have a similar survey go out every single year so we can see how we're progressing in certain areas to make sure that, if people consider their streets are being improved, and we can show that Kenny's doing a good job because their overall acceptance of the town streets has increased over the past 5 years, things like that. So that's why I want to do this. Also want to get good feedback from the community, find out what they think is the town's highest priority, where we should be spending our resources. I have a few guesses that, maybe water would be the first one, but it would always be good to know what the residents actually think. I sent this out to department heads to get some feedback. Besides being too long, they said that overall, the feedback was good. We're going to be talking about it in a department head meeting next week. I had Courtney take it, and she said it took about 15 to 20 minutes to go through the whole survey. So that's not too long. We may go through and try to adjust and shorten it a little bit. Some of the questions seem a little repetitive, so maybe we can adjust those. But overall, I wanted to see if the board supported the idea, and if there's any other questions you wanted to specifically ask.
Through the chair, how would you distribute?
Yeah, so I think it would be kind of expensive to mail this to everyone, probably not worth it. So what we'd do is put it on an online survey tool and put it on the town website, put it on social media outlets, and just try to get it spread by word of mouth.
Is there a way, through the chair, is there a way that we could use, I don't know if they have that cost effective, like SurveyMonkey or something like that we could use, but use the same one, same link for all three of the places that you mentioned, because there is a lot here.
Yeah, yeah.
People
So
may lose interest after
right, that
the third page.
after 5 minutes, I'm like, it does go a little fast, but we will work on kind of shortening it down.
I think if we could do it online,
Yeah, it makes it a lot
absolutely.
faster.
it would go, yeah.
So that is the plan. And you can use SurveyMonkey or Survey Gizmo, and they give you a link, and you can put that link anywhere you want.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and through the chair,
I think it's good.
the thing that scared me was through the postage paid envelopes.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
We can eliminate that, and
Yeah.
cut the
Do it
cost down.
online.
There goes your point.
Right.
There, a couple of questions, for instance, there's a section here about water. It may be worthwhile asking the person to identify their street, just in case it doesn't line up with, what we're getting reports on.
Yep.
That may be helpful, but I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, that you bring up a good point, because a lot of people they only want to do it if it's anonymous, but it's very helpful if we have some idea where they are, because then we can, do something.
Just for that particular question,
Yeah.
and not a street number, just the
just
street name.
Yeah, I agree, that would be a good way to
And,
approach it.
one in the back, if they don't want to disclose their income, then just
Yeah.
allow them not to.
Yeah, you don't.
And maybe just allow them to drop it off in a box at
Yeah.
town hall.
Right, because there will be some people that
Right, are
don't
gonna
have
wanna,
computers or
Right.
not.
my mother is proud of the fact she's computer illiterate, so she would want to fill one of these out.
Yep.
And I didn't mean that, Mom, in the way.
Any other discussion on that? All right, next item on the agenda is Board of Selectmen's Executive Secretary position vacancy discussion.
So
Should we ask our former town administrator what happened?
Yeah, so as you are aware, we have the executive secretary position vacant to the town administrator. Courtney has been amazing and a very diligent and hard worker, very capable, and she showed interest in the position, so I was more than happy to take her as the executive secretary to the town administrator, which happens to leave a vacancy for the executive secretary to the Board of Selectmen.
I think we have a 14-day period to revoke your appointment.
Yeah, you do. So. I think it's 15 days, actually.
15.
So if you're okay with that.
No, first, congratulations to
Yes,
Courtney.
congratulations, Courtney.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yes.
My only worry is that I can't keep Courtney busy enough, because I give her stuff and she comes back in like 3 minutes and it's done. I'm like, how'd you do that so fast? But for her replacement, I was wondering how the board wants to handle that. So we have several applicants that applied for the TA executive secretary position that are well qualified. A lot of them have municipal experience. I reached out to them to see if they were still interested, and they are, or several of them are. So either we can repost it and go through the process from the beginning. We can have the board interview just those candidates. We could have them interview with the board altogether, or have just 2 members of the board, or just one. I'm open to anything and whatever the board wants to do.
Through the chair, I would suggest maybe a pre-screening committee, maybe a couple of the board members with the town administrator, and then bring it, the suggested person And I don't know if you want to open it up, and I don't want to create any more fires, and not that
Mhm.
this created a fire in town hall, but is it open then to town hall employees? Or was it already open to town hall?
I mean, they could have applied, no one internally did, but certainly I could send out an email and ask if anyone is interested in it.
Could be they didn't want to work for you.
And now that they know me, they really wouldn't.
Well, and they might want to be able to work side by side with Courtney, so.
I think it was the pizza.
Yeah,
That's
pizza
what did
every
it.
Monday, what?
So do we want to appoint 2 members to the?
I'll make a motion to have the chairman and the vice chairman if they're willing.
Sure.
And I would say to work with the town administrator.
Absolutely.
So, before you vote on that, would you like me to re-advertise the whole thing, or maybe the first step, go with those who've already shown interest?
Let's see if you have quality people. You
But to me, it may
already
make sense to just do an internal,
Yeah.
if you think that makes sense. I don't, again, I'm afraid of, internal turnover too, because that causes problems.
Yeah.
But I want to be fair to people in the town, knowing that Courtney is actually the one that's going to be moving over and taking your spot.
Yeah. So I think that's fair. We can go with, interview any internal candidates that are interested, as well as, interview some of the ones that have applied and showed interest in the past. If we don't find someone we like, then we can perhaps open it up.
Through the chair, through our administrator, then would you repost that internally and give it like a 30 days or 14 days, or just so that we're fair?
Yeah, we'll just do 2 weeks. I wouldn't do more than
Yeah.
2 weeks.
because someone might be on vacation. and-
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's fair. Okay. Let's just,
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, Courtney, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
I don't know if I want to do that. No,
Selectman Board?
Yes.
Selectman Duggan?
So when will she assume the duties?
Before he
tomorrow.
votes.
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Philpott?
Yes.
Boo.
I'll still be there.
Let's see a new car she got. No.
But in all honesty, Courtney, it's been a pleasure. I know we're going to still see you all the time,
I
but
know.
you've
It has
been an incredible asset to this board.
Absolutely.
That's-
and you'll still be working, so you can come to the meeting, so.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we expect to see you here.
As a condition of your new job.
Right. Next item on the agenda is informational mail.
Mr. Chairman, just a
Yes.
quick question on new business for our next meeting. I know that several of the board members have talked about the beach and interest in the beach, to perhaps, and also I see Mr. Mullins in the audience, to put on the agenda perhaps for the next meeting, the possibility of a more permanent beach committee to help out the town
Absolutely.
administrator with developing the beach.
Definitely, we can add that to the next meeting agenda.
So I'll run through the informational mail we received. The first letter I have is from Mrs. Godzik and Mrs. Arsenal. There's been an ongoing dispute over some land, and they wrote a letter about the building inspector. I've met with the building inspector. I think the claims in here are exaggerated. I think the building inspector handled it professionally, and we're working to resolve the overall issue that they're frustrated with, and hope to have that resolved very quickly. Next, we wanted to make you aware that there was a resignation on the Conservation Commission. Paul Fisk has moved, so he's resigned from the Conservation Commission. And when we get someone that is interested in the position, will come before the board for appointment.
And through the chair, just a question, timing-wise, is there an alternate for Concom? Will this put them in a no meeting situation?
They didn't say that, so they have 5 members, or they're supposed to have 5, so I think they are still able to move forward, but I'll confirm that.
Thank you.
The next letter is from National Grid. They're just notifying us that they're spraying for plants along their rights of way within town. The next letter is from the Worcester Community Housing Resources, Inc. They are just making us aware of a grant program, which we are actually already taking advantage of. So nothing really there. The Tri-Valley Senior Group, they do a lot of services for seniors in this area. They've asked for money from the town, from the Council on Aging. We typically haven't been making that donation to them. Gina and I have talked about that a little bit, but she doesn't intend to make it this year. The next letter is from the Last Green Valley, just making us aware of their event, their annual meeting on Wednesday, May 31st, from 4 to 7 in Pomfret, Connecticut. Next is a letter from the Finance Committee notifying the board that Stanley Lanke has resigned. The next letter is from the moderator notifying us that he has appointed Michael Finnemore to the Finance Committee. And the next letter is also from the moderator notifying us that Carol Marchand has been appointed to the Finance Committee. And then we have the minutes from the town meeting, both the special and the annual. And we have another letter from the State Department of Capital Asset Management and Maintenance. They're just notifying us that the state is looking for residential 5-bedroom homes in the area for the, I forgot the department, Health and Human Services. So spoke with them. These would be kind of people who have mental illness that they're looking for homes to fill for them. And then we have a letter from Denise Granger. She is interested in being on the Monument Trustee Committee. So we will bring that to the board at our next meeting to appoint her.
Next item on the agenda is executive session.
Yeah, so we'll need to go into executive session to approve some meeting minutes. And just to make sure we do this right, I'm going to have Randy read the recommended motion from our council.
Motion to go into executive session. I move that we convene into executive session under MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Purpose 7, to comply with or under the authority of a general law for purposes of approving and amending the executive session meeting minutes on February 27th, 2017, by adding a case discussed, the name of which must be kept confidential under authority of MGL Chapter 265, Section 24B and 24C, period. Following executive session, we will not reconvene into open session.
Other than to adjourn.
What's that?
Other than to adjourn.
Yeah, other than to adjourn. Yep.
That motion. Second.
Second by Mr. Volk.
Right, I'll poll the board.
Selectman, you're good.
Yep. Selectman Bohr?
Yes.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Duggan?
Yes.
Then myself, yes.